Hello, everyone, and welcome again to Qtric's second annual Zero Emissions Bus Technologies and Transit Operations Conference. Before we begin, I'd just like to share that we've got closed captions available in both French and English. You can enable the tool by clicking directly below the video stream. So my name is Soumya Bhausa. I'm project manager on the Pan-Canadian Fuel Cell Bus project at Qtric, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to a keynote by a platinum sponsor, NewFlyer. I'm joining you today from Calgary, Alberta, and in the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that we live, work, and play on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, including Siksika, Kainai, and Piikani, the Tsuut'ina Nation, the Yahe Nation, the Métis Nation, Region 3, and all people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of southern Alberta. Again, I'd like to thank NewFlyer, Motor Coach Industries, Alexander Dennis Limited, Arbox Specialty Vehicles, and NFI Parts for sponsoring this event. We have with us Jennifer Mcneil, who's Vice President of Sales and Marketing at NewFlyer and MCI. Welcome, Jennifer. And so the flows Jennifer's.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Mcneil, and I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for NewFlyer and MCI's public sector business. First, I'd like to thank Dr. Petrunych and the Qtric team for hosting yet another timely forum dedicated to the advancement of low-carbon mobility. NewFlyer is a proud member and supporter of Qtric, and it's my honor to talk to you today about NFI's sustainability journey and our evolution to zero-emission public transit. NewFlyer and MCI are the North American bus and coach brands within NFI Group, one of the world's largest providers of mass mobility solutions. Proudly headquartered in Canada, NFI Group is publicly traded on the TSX and is comprised of more than 8,000 team members in 10 countries. We move people in cities all over the world with zero-emission battery electric and fuel cell electric technology, deployed in all markets and supported by infrastructure solutions, aftermarket parts, and service. So when I sat down to reflect on the past year for this keynote, my head was honestly spinning. 2021 was just a wild year for our industry, but it was also an incredibly impactful one. Transit agencies and industry manufacturers alike faced unprecedented change, obstacles, and turmoil, yet made amazing strides towards our collective goal for sustainable, zero-emission public transportation and more livable communities. Over the next 20 minutes or so, I'd like to share how the events of the past year have shaped our business and accelerated NFI's sustainability journey. 2021 was the second year of the COVID-19 global pandemic. If you're anything like me, you're probably a bit weary about talking about COVID. But looking back, it was a year of heroic strides in vaccine development and community mobilization to get jabs in arms, especially the arms of those most vulnerable. It was also a year of extremely polarizing viewpoints over vaccine mandates throughout our industry. Transit agencies and federal departments required them for both their employees and their suppliers. OSHA introduced and then canceled the temporary emergency standard requiring businesses with more than 100 employees to implement vaccine mandates or regular testing. And so we all responded. We created more policies, processes, and systems that focused on the health and safety of riders, team members, and their families, all while ensuring compliance with the ever-changing public health requirements. 2021 also saw federal elections held in both the United States and Canada. In the United States, the change was significant and met with turmoil, as demonstrated by the January 6th insurrection. But the Biden-Harris administration prevailed with their steadfast support of public transit, prioritizing environmental justice, racial equity, infrastructure renewal, and workforce development. In Canada, the new Trudeau Liberal government was sworn in late October, with a few new faces and programs, but largely maintaining the momentum of federal support goals and objectives for zero-emission public transit, including the aggressive target for 5,000 electric buses by 2025. 2021 was also a year of economic recovery, According to the OECD, we saw real gross domestic product return to pre-pandemic levels. Throughout the year, both businesses and individuals rebuilt from the lows of 2021 to a growth trajectory towards prosperity. However, also during this time, the automotive supply chain has experienced unprecedented rapid cost inflation, falling well inside normal contracting timeframes for our industry and well beyond historic inflation estimates. Some of the impacts to our industry have included raw material shortages and price inflation, up to almost double 5-year historic averages. Delays, shortages, and unexpected price increases from component suppliers related to labor disruptions, microchip and electronic component shortages, and escalating freight costs related to port congestion, expedite fees, and fuel surcharges. Today, all automotive manufacturers face a tremendous amount of uncertainty as to how long this inflationary environment will last, and how events such as the political turmoil in Eastern Europe will further impact commodities and fuel prices. The situation has created a business crisis that has been recognized by some of the industry associations and government entities, with an understanding that recovery for our industry means all participants need to survive and prosper. 2021 was also a year of increasing labor shortages. As hiring picked up, the availability of skilled workers became scarce. Unemployment rates dropped in all states and provinces, and job opening rates increased. Wages have been steadily on the rise. Whether bus drivers, mechanics, welders, electricians, engineers, or accountants, labor shortages have impacted all areas of our industry. And although 2020 was extraordinary and disruptive, 2021 was probably more difficult to manage on a day-to-day basis. The level of employee turnover in all industries throughout 2021 has been intense, with some calling it the Great Resignation. In some areas of the world, social supports during the pandemic were comparable to, or greater than, the compensation of working, all things considered. In general, though, the turnover rates have meant that all employers have had to take a good hard look at all elements of how we recruit, retain, and develop employees. We've also had to focus on training and retraining. 2021 was a year of finding our voices. Racial and gender equality, gender identity and LGBTQ rights, truth and reconciliation. 2021 was a year where social justice took center stage. Through communications, events, activities, and policies, those who were underrepresented have raised awareness and been a catalyst for positive, albeit sometimes uncomfortable, change. No matter where you lived in 2021, there was some sort of extreme weather event. Whether it was the Pacific Northwest heat dome, the polar vortex on the prairies, or Hurricane Ida, climate change has become undeniable. Had anyone ever heard of an atmospheric river before 2021? 2021 provides the sobering and tangible realization that if we don't act quickly on greenhouse gas emissions, our children, grandchildren, nieces, and nephews will be dealing with escalating climate emergencies throughout their entire lives. In November 2021, COP26 took place in Glasgow, Scotland. In his opening statement, the chair of the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change commented that there is no going back from some changes in the climate system. However, some of the changes could be slowed and others could be stopped by limiting warming. Unless there are immediate, rapid, and large-scale reductions in greenhouse gas emissions, limiting warming to 1.5 degrees C or even 2 degrees C will be pushed beyond our reach. This urgency was represented in climate action commitments throughout the year. Although some have debated on whether or not they're enough, GHG reduction commitments were revised and accelerated in Canada, the United States, and the UK, along with action plans to get to net zero by 2050. Also, numerous cities throughout North America made clear commitments to zero-emission public transportation and dedicated the time and resource to planning how that transition would occur. 2021 brought a significant shift in mindset to working through the how and not the if, which I think is a really big win. Now, probably the most exciting part of 2021 was the scale of green infrastructure investments that accompanied these commitments. In Canada, $33.6 billion were committed to the Canada Infrastructure Program, including the Permanent Transit Fund and the Zero Emission Transit Fund. In the United States, $1.2 trillion was committed to the Bipartisan Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, including a 63% increase in public transit funding and a 210% increase in bus capital. 2 weeks ago, the 2022 Notice of Funding Opportunity for Low and No Emission Vehicles was released for $1.1 billion compared to last year's $185 million. On both sides of the border, we face an historic level of funding towards zero-emission public transit, prioritizing climate justice and workforce development. Now, the prevailing concern throughout the industry is around timely execution and demonstrating to the public that these investments result in positive change in our communities. Those of you who are math nerds like me will appreciate the question, are we at an inflection point? But maybe rather than defining this moment in calculus terms, we can talk with an historical perspective. The historical definition of an inflection point is an event that results in a significant change in the progress of an industry, sector, economy, or geopolitical situation, and can be considered a turning point after which dramatic change is expected to result. The incredible challenges we've faced over the last couple of years, combined with unprecedented levels of investment available, really makes me wonder. So, whether you see it from a personal or a professional perspective, this is our time to make changes that improve the lives of people, reduce our environmental impact, and create prosperous outcomes for society. Sustainability and sustainable business is a journey. Every year, we strive to do just a little bit better. I'd like to share the story of NFI's 2021 sustainability journey with you. Our sustainability pledge has been in place for more than a decade and underpins everything we do. In 2019, we started publishing our progress in an environmental, social, and governance report available on our website. 2020's is there, and we're working on 2021's right now. It's pretty exciting. So today I'll start off where I left off in last year's keynote address with NFI's 4-pillar technology roadmap, which consists of vehicles, infrastructure, technology, and workforce development. Throughout 2021, we launched 6 new zero-emission vehicles, grew our charging infrastructure deployment to over 50 cities, and made further strides in connected vehicle technology, all while recognizing that there is simply no zero-emission future without the reskilling, upskilling, and development of our people. We began 2021 by launching our Excelsior AV, the industry's first SAE Level 4 automated transit bus, and in partnership with the Connecticut Department of Transportation and Robotic Research, are well on our way to demonstrating its first use in dedicated BRT service early next year. And while we believe we are still a way off from automated buses in mixed traffic, this project has challenged industry, government, and transit to solve technical, logistical, and commercial hurdles related to automated driving. It's highlighted the importance of the vehicle electrical architecture, cybersecurity testing, and functional safety. It has also allowed us to understand the safety benefits that increasing levels of automation can provide. At NFI, this will inform deployment of lower levels of automation, as well as further development of our vehicle electrical architecture. In March 2021, we launched our Excelsior Charge NG. This next-generation battery electric transit bus features 3 distinct product improvements. First, a more efficient and streamlined battery enclosure, designed and manufactured by NFI to reduce weight, withstand water and thermal intrusion, and isolate from the environment, as well as improving serviceability. Second, an upgraded traction drive system that improves energy recuperation, provides better torque accuracy, and consumes a smaller footprint on the vehicle. And third, next-generation high-energy batteries that extend range by 13% and provide greater capture of regenerative energy during braking. In May, we launched our low-entry battery electric commuter coach, the MCI D45 CRT LE charge. Later in the year, we delivered the first coaches to Antelope Valley Transit in Lancaster, California, who just last week announced their transition to a 100% zero-emission fleet, our first customer to hit that milestone. Also in May, we launched our J4500 charge battery electric touring coach. Later that summer, one of our customers, Trax Coach Lines, set a new record in electric coach operation by driving a new J4500 charge from Kamloops to Vancouver. Throughout 2021, interest grew in fuel cell electric technology, as many agencies determined that fuel cell electric buses were more suitable for certain duty cycles. Through our Vehicle Innovation Center, we hosted numerous information sessions and technology demonstrations. 2021 held a couple of key milestones for NewFlyer. In November, at APTA Expo, we announced a contract for 33 fuel cell electric buses with Foothill Transit in West Covina, California, which creates the single largest fleet of fuel cell buses in North America. In December, we entered into our first Canadian contract for the Excelsior Charge H2. We've been an engaged and active participant in the Q-Trip Fuel Cell Electric Bus project. I'm hopeful that 2022 will continue to demonstrate what we firmly believe. There is a place for both battery electric and fuel cell electric technology in a sustainable future. By the end of 2021, NFI had installed almost 300 chargers in over 50 cities, both en route and depot chargers. Our solutions have ranged from providing equipment to full turnkey project management with service level agreements. Projects so far have been relatively small, but have provided tremendous insight to the challenge that adoption at scale brings to our industry, including and especially charge management. The integration of vehicles and charging requires high level of vehicle data sharing and interoperability, something pioneered here at Q-Trip. Which brings me to the topic of connected vehicles. As we further advance vehicle technology, there is a growing demand for connected vehicle data sharing. We know that range and energy consumption data are critical, especially with agencies developing initial transition plans. In 2021, we made improvements to overall vehicle diagnostics and troubleshooting across all vehicle components and charging infrastructure. We also deployed our NFI Connect functionality to exist in vehicle electrical checkouts during manufacture. Throughout the year, we developed a deeper understanding for functional safety and cybersecurity as part of core vehicle design, automated driving technology, and infrastructure networks. Recently, we announced joining ITXPT, the Information Technology for Public Transport. ITXPT is a global nonprofit association that enables the open architecture, data accessibility, and interoperability between IT systems. This is a fundamental shift that we need to consider. No longer can we simply prescribe the components we want assembled on a bus. We have to consider the system's impacts, interoperability, and cybersecurity. NFI's Vehicle Innovation Center entered our 4th operating year in 2021, offering free of charge scheduled programming for our customers, suppliers, and partners, combined with in-person and virtual technology demonstrations. Last year, this amazing team of subject matter experts and storytellers conducted 6 product launches, 17 scheduled training programs, and 38 technology demonstrations, reaching more than 2,600 people. 2021 taught us how to combine virtual and in-person programming, leveraging the effectiveness of each. And as we celebrate our 5th year of operation, we will be adding more fuel cell electric content and new innovations in infrastructure and other sustainability topics. NFI's sustainability journey is not one that we travel alone. Organizations such as Q-Trip provide a forum for collaboration where we shape our future. In 2021, our team was incredibly active with industry advocacy and participation. We thank all of you for this and hope that our participation provides you with experiences, ideas, and concepts for your sustainability journey. NFI has operated an ISO 14001 environmental management system since 2005. managing our environmental footprint. In 2021, we took the next step and submitted our first report to the Carbon Disclosure Project, or CDP. CDP will help us understand how we compare to our peers and where we should target to reduce our environmental impact as we manufacture products and help reduce GHGs for our customers. Also in 2021, we signed an MOU with Li-Cycle for battery recycling. Although the recycling and reclamation of active materials occurs quite far down the battery supply chain, we are raising awareness to the process and providing avenues for our customers to recycle end-of-life batteries from zero-emission vehicles. But by far, our number one priority over the last year has been keeping our people safe, productive, trained, and happy. Over the last 5 years, the technology shift to zero emission demanded an investment in training and workforce development, including the development of pipelines for good jobs in the communities where we live and operate. Today's hiring environment is challenging and has simply amplified our efforts in this critical area. In 2020, we partnered with the Transportation Diversity Council to launch a national community benefits framework. It provided an umbrella agreement under which NewFlyer and TDC could launch local initiatives and community outreach that finds candidates and develops them through pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs, with the goal of removing barriers and creating opportunity. In each of the communities in which we operate, there are a unique set of social and cultural circumstances and a unique set of skills and competencies required. In 2021, we made some tremendous progress under this framework. I'd like to share a couple of examples with you. The first initiative was the Anniston Workforce Development Program. Under this program, a plan was developed to build our team in Anniston, Alabama, with specific actions deployed, including the establishment of the Employee Engagement Committee and agreements put in place with 8 community-based organizations in the area who identify us, potential candidates, provide social or educational supports, and help bring people into our team. In 2021, we hired 13 new employees through this pipeline, several of whom we have featured in our Leading the Charge newsletter, which I invite you to read. With the increasing demand for zero-emission buses, NewFlyer has invested in both battery electric and fuel cell electric bus manufacturing throughout our facilities, as well as ESS manufacturing capability in St. Cloud and Anniston. In 2021, we delivered 130,000 hours of training to our team to support our capabilities, which brings me to the next initiative launched, our Electrical Technician Training Program. In October of 2021, we launched our Electrical Technician Training Program at NewFlyer. It is an intensive classroom and on-the-job training program focused on developing the specialized skills required to manufacture zero-emission vehicles. The program was developed in conjunction with the Communication Workers of America and initially launched in NewFlyer's St. Cloud and Crookston facilities, with 42 technicians currently enrolled. It includes training on electrical theory and components, electrical systems, zero-emission propulsion, and customer options, along with on-the-job training that teaches our people how to perform electrical checks, verifications, commissioning, and troubleshooting. NFI has always maintained policies for business conduct, equal opportunity employment, and support of disadvantaged business enterprises. We have a zero-tolerance policy for workplace discrimination and harassment. 2021 was a year where we went beyond upholding policy and found our voice as well, issuing a human rights statement, followed by joining the SDTC 50/30 Challenge, working towards gender parity and diversity on our board and in our senior leadership positions. We are a proud co-founding member of COMPTO, who received the 2021 Emerging Chapter of the Year Award. We are also part of the APTA Racial Equity Pilot Project and the Truth and Reconciliation Employer Consortium TRC 92 Social Innovation Lab. But probably the most significant activity in 2021 was our ED&I assessment with Korn Ferry, where we took a good look at ourselves. Information and input was received from the entire NFI workforce to help us understand the gaps we have and drive the most important changes that need to be made to build awareness, remove barriers, and create safe, equitable, and welcoming spaces for our team members. Needless to say, 2021 was exhausting. Simultaneously, we had engineering and marketing launching new technology, supply and operations battling disruptions, human resources battling the great resignation while ramping training programs up, and sales responding to procurement levels that were 175% of what we saw in 2020. Our team members have been resilient, responsive, and amazing, but 2021 was not a sustainable work environment. Over the past year, we've spent a great deal of time with our teams talking about balance and mental health. The past couple of years have been tough ones. We were able to pilot 4-day work weeks in one of our factories. And as we emerge from lockdowns, NFI has launched a flexibly working policy, which is intended, along with other employee supports, to create a more balanced and livable environment for our team members and their families. So 2021 was an incredible year in NFI's sustainability journey. Not only did we launch 6 new North American zero-emission vehicles with the associated infrastructure and aftermarket support, but our team also took the challenges faced through the pandemic and turned them into solutions that improve the lives and outcomes for our people, their families, and our communities. So I hope this talk has provided you with just a little peek inside NFI's sustainability journey. So far, 2022 has been just as exciting as 2021. It seems that the desire and funding levels are supportive of accelerating zero-emission mobility deployments throughout Canada and the United States. We're hopeful that the momentum and urgency for our climate action plans continue, and that we can show our communities the value of their investments. At NFI, we have a fantastic lineup of projects and goals for the year, with our highest strategic priorities focused on people, followed by more innovations that support a zero-emission future. So, to answer my earlier question, yes, this is the moment that changes everything. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Jennifer. It is exciting to see more urgency and ambition within a major industry player such as NFI Group. With that, I would like to, looks like we're approaching the end of time, so I think we won't be doing a Q&A, but I would like to wrap up this session and thank the audience for joining us as well. I'd also like to remind everyone that in case you'd like to continue the dialogue, you can join us for a virtual networking session. That'll be taking place at 5:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Last but not least, if you missed it earlier, again, I'm thrilled to share that QTRIC's been named the National Planning Service for Infrastructure Canada's Zero Emission Transit Fund. We're excited to support transit agencies and municipalities alongside valued industry players such as the NFI Group to plan their way to a zero-emission transit fleet. To learn more, please contact us via email or visit our website. We'll see you at the next sponsor keynote session, following which we hope to see you at the virtual networking as well. Thanks again, and bye for now.
Thank you all. Bye and enjoy the conference.